Hello everyone, welcome to today's news starter. Let us begin with the prelims practice question of the day. All right, so take a look at this question. Which among the below mentioned organizations is known as the world's Atoms for Peace and Development Organization? International organizations are very important for UPSC examination. For prelims or mains, they keep asking questions from international organizations. So you need to know about the basic details, all the nitty-gritties and everything when it comes to these organizations. Atoms for Peace and Development Organization. So four options are provided. All four options are related to nuclear energy or atomic energy. So it is a little difficult unless you know the answer for sure. It's not easy to answer such questions. So the answer for this is International Atomic Energy Agency. Try to remember this very well. In the recent times, because of the increasing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, these kind of topics are very important, especially anything related to nuclear energy or atomic energy is very important. Let's look at the first topic of the day. PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. So Muft Bijli Yojana is very important because the Prime Minister himself has told in multiple occasions, in multiple arenas, that we are aiming to bring a scheme through which people can avail electricity free of cost, or at least at a reduced cost. So this is one step towards it. So recently, the government has made some modifications. Whenever there is a scheme which is very important from the government's point of view, it is very important for the UPSC aspirants' point of view too. So whenever there is a modification or change in those schemes, we need to know it very well. Initially, the government said that uh, we will have complete subsidy for the installation of the rooftop solar panels and all the machineries that is required if it is between 1 kilowatt to 3 kilowatt. If a household has to install a solar panel along with the conductors, and the capacity is between 1 kilowatt to 3 kilowatt, there will be full subsidy. So this is what the government told in the beginning, and we are going to do it for 1 crore households. But recently, the government understood that it is not possible for the government to subsidize it 100%. So the government is doing 60% subsidy. 60% will be provided by the government of India, central government itself. And the household has to pay the remaining, out of which minimum of 20,000 rupees should be spent from the household's hand. So this is the most important point. And if the household do not have this much money, and if they want to avail loan, the government will ensure that there will be public sector banks which will provide very low interest loans and which are collateral free also. Collateral free, very low interest loans will be provided, and they can repay it on EMI basis also. So maybe for 3 to 4 years, you should spend a little money from your hand and repay the loan. But after that, if you have a solar panel and if you are producing electricity on your own, you can sell the electricity also. You do not have to pay any money for your monthly electricity bill. So all these things are a big savings and it is a big investment. So people should go for these kind of schemes. One important point is only houses which have suitable roof on which good amount of solar power is coming up and a very good grid connectivity, only these kind of houses are eligible. All houses are not eligible for this. So if you get a question in prelims where they are telling that any household can be eligible for that scheme, that is not true. Only those households which have good roof and those households where we can get good amount of solar power is eligible. Depending on the consumption pattern, this could even mean consumer earning money, because if you do not consume more and you are producing excess amount of electricity, you can sell the electricity. There are 12 public sector banks which will offer collateral free loan up to 1% above the repo rate. Repo rate at present is 6.5%. So if you are getting a loan at 7.5% rate, that is a very good deal. So this is the basic detail which you should be knowing from examination point of view. Let's move to the next topic. The periodic labor force survey. Periodic labor force survey, whenever the result comes, it's very important because labor, employment, and economy, all these concepts are extremely important from GS3 point of view. This entire topic is important for prelims. You need to know the data. You need to remember the data also. If you are getting a question on labor force, if you are getting a question on employment, in all these things, you should use these data in the introduction or the body of the answer. So try to remember this. Labor force participation rate. What is labor force participation rate? Out of the total population of the country, how many people are in the labor force who are ready, who are already employed or who are ready to take employment? That has increased 58.35 percentage in 2021. In 2017 to 18, it was 52.35 percentage. So around 6 percentage increase has happened. 52.35 to 58.35, 6 percentage increase has happened. Now, overall unemployment rate. The government has been telling that the unemployment rate has declined, and it is because of the PLFS data. 6.2 percentage it was in 2017-18. In 2021-22, it declined to 4.2 percentage. So 2 percentage decline. When we talk about the labor force participation, 6 percentage it has increased. When we talk about employment rate, unemployment rate, it has decreased by 2 percentage within 4 years. Improvements are largely driven by self-employment. So these data looks very good. It feels like we are going in the right direction, but there is a catch to it. Most of the improvements has happened in self-employment only. All these improvements is because more people are self-employed. They are doing their own business. They are doing their own service sector or something like that. So it is not a very big achievement, because if you tell that there is improvement, then there should be overall improve. Means government sector should have taken more labor, the salaried sector should have taken more labor. There should be more labor in manufacturing, agriculture, and service sector also. So that is what we call as overall development. Most of the increase is seen in the proportion of unpaid family labor. So this point is very, very important. The increase has mostly happened in unpaid family labor. For example, if my family has a store and if I'm just helping them there, I can just tell that I'm employed in this store, but in reality, I'm not employed. It is equal to unemployment because I'm just doing something to help my store, my family store. So most of the employment in the recent time has developed because of unpaid family labor. People who are working for their own family but not getting paid. Both rural and urban daily earnings increased on an average between 10 rupees and 14 rupees. Every day's earning, when you take 2010 prices and you compare it with 2021 prices, in this 10 years, the daily earning has increased by just 10 rupees, whereas inflation was at an average of more than 6% every year. This shows that the earnings of the people, the income of the people have not increased to the greater extent or not even to the satisfiable extent. So this point should be considered properly. Even with 30-day work month, in a month, if the 30 days, if you consider, casual workers were making 6,000 rupees a month at 2010 prices. So if you take the prices of the goods, which was at in the year 2010, the salary of the people is just 6,000. If you take it at 2021 prices, it is just 11,500. So with 30 days month, the casual workers on an average is earning just 11,000. 11,000 is nowhere enough. It is almost just a little above the poverty level. So it is not enough is what the entire data is telling. This point is again very important. The top 20 percentage of the salaried workers, top 20 percentage, they saw a drop in their real daily average earnings. So out of this entire data, the most important data is the first and second. That is, labor force participation has increased, unemployment has actually decreased. Then comes the problematic points. Problematic points are most of the employment was due to self-employment. A lot of labor are involved in family, unpaid labor, and the final point, 20% of the topmost people in the salaried employment, their real wage on a daily basis has actually declined. So this shows that the economy is doing good. Of course, we are able to reduce unemployment. We are able to increase labor force participation rate, but there are some problems also which we should take care of. That is why these points are very important. About International Atomic Energy Agency, because recently Russian president outrightly said that if the West involves too much in Russia-Ukraine war, we may end up using nuclear weapons also. So, in such perspective, in such context, we need to know about the International Atomic Energy Agency, because this is the agency which stops any kind of problems when it is related to the nuclear warfare or nuclear proliferation, etc. So it is the world central intergovernmental forum. Governments are involved here for scientific and technological cooperation with respect to nuclear field. It was actually established as an autonomous organization in Vienna, Austria. But later, at present, how it is functioning, it reports to the United Nations General Assembly and Security Council also. It was not started as a UN body. It was started as an autonomous body, but at present it reports to both these bodies, that is UN's General Assembly and UN's Security Council also. It applies nuclear safeguards. What are the safeguards? Monitoring. It monitors the country. It inspects the nuclear facilities, information analysis, and other activities also to verify that nuclear activities remain peaceful. And if there is any diversion or if there is any problem, they will take care of it. It implements the comprehensive safeguards related to non-proliferation treaty. We need to know about non-proliferation treaty also. After the first nuclear test of India, all the G5 countries came together, and then they told that we need to stop such proliferation by any country. So they came up with a treaty called as Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Is India a signatory of Non-Proliferation Treaty? India is not a signatory, because according to this treaty, they told that only the P5 countries, that is the permanent 5 countries of United Nations Security Council, can have nuclear weapons. So India consider it as a proper method of discrimination between the P5 countries and other countries. So we have not included in it. IAEA, that is International Atomic Energy Agency, enhances national, regional, and international capacities to respond to nuclear and radiological incident. If there is any accident, if there is any incident, how to take care of it. All these things are done by International Atomic Energy Agency. Try to remember everything. Initiatives against TB we have discussed yesterday, so I'll not be discussing it here. Mains question of the day: critically examine the improvement of employment growth data in India and suggest measures to tap the demographic dividend. What is the demographic dividend? Youth being excess in the population. More than 50% of the population belong to people from 15 years of age to 60 years of age. So that is called demographic dividend. It is told that within the next 20 years, India's demographic dividend will peak. It will reach the height. And after that, it is going to decline. So within that, how do we use this youth population to enhance the economy of the country? So we need to discuss about it in this answer. We have already discussed about employment generation when we talked about PLFS data. So with that, you can easily write an answer for this. Something which you can use in your mains examination. Gender disparity is everywhere. It is in energy sector also. So recently what happened is the International Energy Agency told that in India, only 10% of women hold technical positions in energy sector. All the remaining 90% are men. So most of the women are not employed in technical field when we talk about energy sector. Now, apart from this, each year nearly half of all air pollution related deaths, 60% of which are women and children. So out of the total amount of death due to pollution, air pollution, 60% are women and children. So this shows that women and children are the highly affected population when we talk about air pollution, but women's employment in this sector is very less. So government should take care of. One important point for prelims. Recently, the Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air took a survey and they found out that Meghalaya's Birnihat is the most polluted industrial town in India. And this Birnihat is has a border with Assam. It is located in Meghalaya. Meghalaya is in northeast India, and it is a very pristine, very ecologically sensitive area. But because of extreme amount of industrial operation, because of non-availability of public transportation, because of extreme amount of construction and lack of monitoring of pollution, this has become the most polluted town. It has we can't even compare it with other polluted cities such as Delhi. So Delhi is much less polluted when we compare with Garnihat. So this clearly shows that any city, no matter whether it is a metro city or not, any city can become very polluted. So we need to take care of it very well. We need to apply the required rules and regulation. So that will be all for today. All the best. Study well. Let's meet tomorrow.